I gotta go deep in my ministry. I wanna go deep, deep ministry. I wanna go deep in the ministry. I gotta go deep in my ministries. I gotta go deep in my ministry. I wanna go deep, deep ministry. I wanna go deep in the ministry. I gotta go deep in my ministries. I gotta go deep in my ministry. I wanna go deep, deep ministry. I wanna go deep in the ministry. I gotta go deep in my ministries. I gotta go deep in my ministry. I wanna go deep, deep ministry. I wanna go deep in the ministry.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another night of reading the Christ letters from Christ's Way. We've been reading them a while now. We're currently on letter 4B. I think we're doing letter 4B. Um, we didn't do a reading last week, and so tonight is our second week, so we're starting out early. And I hope if you come against this video, it finds you well. It finds you well. We're living in a highly spiritual time, highly spiritual time, and consciousness is rising. The divine feminine is rising. So things are not the way they used to be. Things are not the way they used to be. And that's why I'm saying I did a live on Thursday. If you get a chance, please listen to it. We are at war for our consciousness, our awareness. And it's the same old things. It's the same old things. Please not be distracted. Please not be deceived when it's time for you to speak up. Please say something. And I'm looking at it, it's for our children, it's for our babies. They've been in this on this roller coaster ride for a while. The same thing, the gun violence, the the division, um, yeah, could the new one is people from Haiti and eating cats and dogs. That is just so silly. Is that what we're worried about? Is that the big thing now? Can we see these divisions? Why are we playing them? Can't we see that we've been played? Um, so we have the division, separation, separating us. Um, the recent one I see with the police and that guy down there. Please, anything you see, don't just bless it and keep moving. Don't give your energy. Um, Someone says where your awareness is, that's where your energy goes. Our energy goes where your thoughts go, something like that. Please don't give these things your energy. There's bigger fish to fry. Look at your children. Don't you want them to live in a world and better than we lived in? Well, if you want that, don't fall for the same old okey doke. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for the division. Don't fall separation by race, continent, and where we grow up, our culture, things we have no, our sexual, we have no say so in whatever um that happens. We came here for a divine purpose. We don't come here just to work and have babies. No, we came here for a divine purpose. Find your purpose. Know why you're here. Know why your higher self sent you here. What lessons need to be learned? I see some places, I think some places are in lockdowns now, the same thing. Violence, shooting and all that. Please, can we just bless those things? You know, bless those things. Don't just give it all your energy. Don't just cooperate. Listen, if you listen to my message, um, we're divine beings. We're all divine beings. Tap into your divinity, tap into your power within us. If we don't do it, no one is coming to save us. Don't think, I know church tell us that Jesus is coming to do this for us and Jesus is coming to do this for us. That's the slave mentality. That's why we're dependent on government to give us a better life and everybody to give us a better life. And accept us, please. Come on, we got to wake up for the future, the children, save the children. That's what keeps coming in my consciousness all day today. Let's save our children. And they're coming in, these new babies are coming in to teach us things because if we can't do it, they got to do it. That's the responsibility you're putting on your children by following. Listen, the government doesn't know more than you do. I know we've been taught, we go to school and everything and to learn and whatever. Listen, the power that's in us, it's just God power. It's just someone used a nice word I like, fractionalizing himself and experiencing whatever we're experiencing right now. And the goal is for us to return to who we are and understand who we are. Please, God is within. Go within. All right, everybody. So we're going to go into the Christ letters tonight, and I can't wait because now we're going into where I hope it's still here. Okay, good. We're going into when Christ is describing the Passover. Christ is describing the Passover, what really happened. I know we have a story in the Bible of what really happened, and that's why we celebrate communion, where we drink Christ's blood and eat his flesh and all that. So we're gonna take a closer look at it. Christ is gonna tell us why he told them that his blood represents his crucifixion and the blood represents the wine. When you drink the wine, it represents his blood, and the wafers represents his body. And Christ says, listen, it was just an allegory. It was just an allegory. So his disciples will understood. He was just so emotional and all that when before the day of Passover, and he never celebrated Passover. Christ never celebrated Passover. He made that clear a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and this is right here. I'm going to touch on this a little bit. Um, this right here, I read in the Christ letter, and it really did something to me. When Christ says, we're dependent on the ancients to tell us who God is. We're dependent on Moses and we're dependent on Moses and all those prophets in the Bible, the ancients of days, to tell us who God is. What is our experience in 2024 about God? What do we think about God? How do we tell the next generation about who God is? Have we ever think about it without referring the disciples, without referring to the disciples or the prophets? God, God transcends time. He's the same God yesterday and today. He's the same God. No, my camera stopped working. We're not going to do that. Yeah, he's the same God yesterday, today, and forever. Same God. So Yeah. So let's think about it. What are we leaving for the next generation? What are we going to tell them about who God is? God is evolving. Let's read these two paragraphs just to review what we talked about a couple nights ago. He said, all that people have known of such a super God has been derived from reading the colorful description of God given by the prophets during their sojourn on earth. It is a hallmark of how everything is okay. Um, my camera is messing up. Yeah. So it is an hallmark of illusory or religious beliefs that religionists return only to the ancients for their truth, since they cannot believe that God is truly real, eternal, and equally able to speak to people in your day and age. Do we believe that? Do we believe that God is able to speak to people today in our day and age? Do we understand that? Do we understand that? We have to understand that. Your ministers are terrified of any beliefs which do not meld into the old ones. They never consider or are afraid to consider that perhaps spiritual knowledge within the earthly dimension is evolutionary, is evolutionary. Yeah, spiritual knowledge is evolutionary. All right. So God, people can just like Moses, as we read in the Bible, just like Samuel can speak to God, they can speak to God today. God is in us, around us, and everywhere. That's what Christ is trying to say. He's not limited to the Bible. We have to take him out of the Bible and experience him. Hey sis, how are you? Oh, your phone was not charged. Okay, I thought you were having problem coming on. But okay. All right. I hope I sent you the link when your phone charged if you want to join. That's okay. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna pick up where we left off. Christ was talking about um what happened. I'm gonna start here. He's talking about um what happened at the last, what we call the Last Supper. Then he's talking about what we called the Last Supper. All right. I marveled at the centuries of old Jewish preoccupation with blood and briefly remembered that Abraham was even prepared to sacrifice his only son, intending to slaughter and offer him a sacrifice because he believed God had told him to do so. And I remember we talking about this. This here what he says. He believed that God had told him to do so. That's one of the scriptures in the Bible. I then thought